It's all good. Okay, so hello everyone. Okay, hello. Just I need to find my cursor. Okay, it's here. Okay, so let's start the first talk for the night. Let's have a fun puzzle about JS and HTMLs. Okay, so just start by a very short disclaimer. Uh, Nothing here is meant to be production code, despite I may have seen something similar in prod before, okay, but it's just coincidence, okay. And here is more to have a fun moment about crazy things about the coding with the link that you use now every day, but we don't know yet. So let's discover, but don't push it to prod. Okay, we are going to use class quiz. It's similar to Kahoot, but open source. It's this platform on the right. I think everyone is this QR code. So let's start the game. So, and I listen my voice here. Okay. Okay, just let's run a demo to everyone be more comfortable with this platform. Okay, just need to zoom out. Okay, next question. For every question, we have 20 seconds to pick one of the answer, and one of these answers is right. Okay, just to everyone be more comfortable with this platform. Have 8, 11, have a lot of people here. Okay, so okay, and for every question, you can see the rank after that. So this one, anyone is right. Okay, just to test this platform. Okay, but for the next one, you'll be one of them. You'll be right. Okay, so let's start the game now. Question number 1. We have this code with set timeout, but the set timeout is used infinite on the second parameter. So, and it print magic. We have 4 options for this question: no error and no print, or throw error and no print, print immediately only once, or print many times. So let's see what will be. Have 5, 6, a lot of answers. Okay, it'll be fun if the chart is flat because everyone is picking random options. Okay, let's see. Have 3, 2, 1. Timeout. So yes, and the answer is magic is printed immediately only once. Let's see the rank. So, oh, I have only one person pick the right one. Oh, congratulations, Tony! You are very smart. Okay, I love this type of question. Okay, and yes, it's confusing. Yes, because it was well designed. And yes, the infinity is converted to 1 or 0 when used instead timeout argument, which implies run on the next tick. So you can even see how is defined from Node.js source code. So after is the second in this moment is the second parameter from set timeout. In this case, it will be infinite. Infinite multiplied by 1 is still infinite. uh, Timeout max is minor than infinite, so its value is to false. It will be true because of the moment it ain't in the if body. After is replaced by 1, so it's scheduled to run on the next tick, following browser's behavior. But it was not the standardized in the past. In all the Internet Explorer and Opera versions, the behavior is never called the callback, but after a while, every browser was follow the same path to run the next tick. So, okay, question number 2. We have this code. This code has 2 fors, but the first one is using var, and the next one is using let. In both cases, we are schedule a task to run on the next tick to print the initialized variable. So, what's going on here? It's print 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 2, or 2, 2, 2, 2. So let's see if you have more guys pick the right answer. Okay, have some answers. Okay, So timeout. So let's see the rank. Oh, now it's a lot of guys pick the right answer. It's very nice. Okay, and yes, the answer is 2201. Okay, so it's confused because the for initialize is different when you use var or let. When you use var, the variables is shared for each iteration. Let's run it step by step. We start by var x equal to 0. We create a new variable, okay? It's minus the 2, and in for body, and schedule a task to run the console.log print x. And after finish this body, it will increment the x, but it changed the x variable, okay? It's still minus the 2. Schedule a new task, point to the same variable, okay? Finish the for, increment the x again. Now it evaluates to false, finish the for body. And note, at the end you have two tasks, both of them point to the same variable, 2 in this case. When you use let, a new lexical scope is created for each iteration. So, just for test purpose, let's say that this let y creates a new variable, okay? Y iteration 1. It schedule a task. This task prints this iteration variable, and when increment the variable, it creates a new one. It's not replace the previous variable, okay? And you compare with the new one, it's still minus the okay, it's still minus. It create a new task, and after that create even new variable, evaluate to false, and finish the for. And note, at the end of the process you have two tasks, each one points a different variable. But note, it's shallow, okay? If the initialized variable points to an object, the properties inside of this object will be shared for every iteration. And in this case, the result will be the same of for var. It will print 2, 2. Let's check how for is defined on the spec, okay? I'm using the spec from this last version. So the spec is explicit about the difference between var and let. We even have one syntax for var and another syntax for with lexical declaration for let in this case. So check the semantic behavior. We can check the following. For var, it's a very simple, just 4 steps. And the last one is the for body evaluation. You are going to check it in a minute. Okay, because for the for with logical declaration, it check if it's const or not. If it's not const, it create a mutable bind, and if it's not const, it will pick the initialized variables and add it to a list called per iteration lets, and it sends to the procedure for body evaluation this list created in the previous step, and this list is empty when used for var, okay? And this list used in this moment on the for body evaluation. When start the for, and create a context with every name from this list, and it update with a new context for every iteration. So that's the reason why you have the difference between for var and for let, because the for let has specific behavior to create a new context for each iteration with the names from the initializer. If you have more curious about even other strange behaviors about for loops, you can check this video from Google Chrome developers. It's very nice, and you can learn even more ready things from JavaScript. Okay, next question. Question number 3. We have this code. We have two objects is, but the first one is compare 0 versus minus 0, and the second one is compare 0n versus minus 0n. What's going on here? Next question is true, true, false, true, false, or true, false, or false, false. Let's check what's going on here. Have okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's check the result. Okay, Castros is winning the game. Okay, very nice. Oh, major part of the guys picked the right answer. Okay, and the answer is false true. Okay, it's confused because JS has 4 different equality and uniformity algorithms. Okay, so the first one, and it's very simple, is abstract equality comparison. Okay, is used by double equal. In this case, both are true. This n at the right of the number means big int. It uses if you want to write very literal numbers. Okay, that you would not be able to fit in simple numbers. It chooses big int. And the second one is strict equality comparison by using triple equal. Still, both are true. Another one is semi-value 0, okay, that used in some cases, such as or includes. Again, both are true. And finally, we have a semi-value. And in this specific case, 0 versus minus 0 is false, and 0n versus minus 0n is true. Semi-value used in some cases, such as on object.is. On Mozilla documentation, you have a very good article explaining the difference between this equality comparison and the sameness, okay? And at the end of the article, we have this table, compare each one of them, and you can see that the only difference between object.is and the semi-value 0 is in this case about plus 0 versus minus 0 in both sides. Okay, let's check quickly how semi-value is defined on JS specification. On semi-value, it starts by checking the types. Okay, if the types are different, return false. But if x is a number, it calls the procedure number semi-value. And it's hard-coded that, okay, if the signal are different, return false. But if it's not a number, it calls this procedure semi-value no number. And in this moment, it checks if x is big int, calls this procedure big int equal. And the big int equal is not compared the right value that you wrote on the code. You are called a function before, r, called r. And this function checks the mathematical value of x. The mathematical value of plus 0 or minus 0 is the same of 0. So that's the reason why you have the difference, because if it's big int, it's before compare the numbers, it calls r. Okay, question number 4, and this one is special because it's question about HTML. Okay, we start with a div. This div has ID magic and the content full, and you have this script. This script is append a element on DOM, is div ID magic content bar, and finally we call this const.log magic.inner HTML. So what's going on this code? Okay, throw error, uncount reference error, magic is not defined, print bar, print full, or print undefined. Let's see. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see the rank. Nobody, well, only one person picked the right answer. Who was? Okay, only one person. Congratulations. Okay, okay, and yes, the answer is undefined. And well, it's confusing because this code uses code smell from legacy and do not recommend that HTML feature. So let's check how is defined on spec? Just a curiosity in the historical context, okay? You are going to check the spec on the WatchWG website. Uh, in the past, it was on W3C website, but some companies was thinking W3C too slow to define new specs, new change on the language, and this company decided to create a new work group called the WatchWG, and both of them was published spec on their own website. But after a while, they decided to start to work together again, but WatchWG is published the spec on their homepage. So, and the spec defines when element is exposed, your words, when it's available from window. So, for instance, if you have a div with ID, this ID you expose to window the element, and you can access it by just typing window.foo that returns the element. It's the same of window.foo is the same of just foo. And a image with name is also exposed. Not all elements with name are exposed. The spec defines a subset of them that are accessible from window. Okay? And the same happens when the DOM is updated. If you update the DOM, add a div with ID, it will change the window and to expose the variable. And when there are two images with the same name, so in this case, it returns a HTML collection. We return all elements with the given name. And if I have two elements with the same ID, the spec is very clear that you shall not do that. You should not have two elements with the same ID on DOM, but you can. And in this case, should return HTML collection. But there is no detail. Since HTML collection don't have the inner HTML property, magic.inner HTML returns a defined. But there is a bug on Firefox, and it returns the element for the first one. So this code, it should return HTML collection, but on Firefox returns the element for the first one. And now you can understand this very fun name, famous 4 ways to reference to div ID full. Okay. Okay. Go to the next question. Question number 5. We have this code. This code starts with open parentheses, something, comma, something, close parentheses. On the first part, has a class magic with static property bind equal to const.log full. In the second part, we print magic.name. What's going on this code? So it print full and no error, print full and the magic, print full and throw error, or is it a syntax error? Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So yes, and the answer is it prints full and then throws in runtime. So it's confused because the class expression and the comma operator. Okay. I don't know if someone know the name comma operator, okay, because not very popular, but present is the beginning of the language. So, and this open parenthesis, it forces the class to become a expression because the class, there is one detail. The class keyword, it can be two things, okay? It can be a class declaration, a statement context, okay? Or it can be a class expression in expression context. For example, if I assign to a variable or within parentheses. And when you use class expression, the class name is only visible within the scope of the class itself. So if you define a class magic to bind to a variable, you can access the name magic within the class in properties or methods, okay? But you can't access the class name on the side of it. So it throws reference error because it can't find the magic name. And it the comma operator, okay? The comma operator receives a list of expressions and it evaluates each item because it may have side effects and then returns the last one. It's a very simple example about comma operator, okay? You are binding to a variable. This open parenthesis 1 evaluates 1, means nothing, comma, evaluates 2, same of nothing, evaluates 3 and return 3 to the assignment. It's a bit more complex example about using comma operator within Redux. You can do that if you want. Okay, it's the same thing. And normally we don't use comma operator on, every day. Okay, but our compilers use it frequently for two main reasons. The first one is minify the code, as you saw before, because it can avoid if, return, else, and so on. It's useful to make it shorter. And another case is to be compliant with specification because you are using TypeScript. You have the for module, okay? If you are export a function that returns this, if you call this function from another module, it should return undefined. You can't access this from another module, okay? Because in Node.js, the global context is the module itself, and it should return undefined. And the TSC converts this code to this one. It open parentheses 0, comma, and call the function, because by this way it can remove the binder. So, and it was a change from TypeScript from the version 4.4. And in this code, now you can understand that you have this class magic. It's a class expression, okay? You can evaluate it to run the side effects about this static property. But in the second part of the comma operator, we can't access its name, and it throw error. Okay, let's go to the last question for the talk. Question number 6. We have this code, okay? We start with this dot message equal to full. Thank you. And it start a class, okay? This class has a property message equal to bar. Have two methods. The first one, say, it prints this dot message, and have the method start. If you schedule a task calling this dot say, and now you create an instance from this class, and it calls the method start. So what's going on this code? It print full or undefined, print bar, or print just undefined. I have more time to this question. Okay. I'll pick it a little. Okay, so yes, the answer is full or undefined. This code can be two different things because it depends on the environment. Okay, it's a very nice question. Okay, it's confused because of this. No, not just because of, okay, this is confused by itself, okay, but yes. But be more specific, okay? It's because of this issue implicit dynamic, and the set timeout depends on the environment. And the best part. Okay, let's explore some things about this, of this. So we start this object, okay? This object full, it has a property 1 assigned to 1, or a assigned to 1, and has a property print a, that's a function that prints this a. If you call just that, it's very simple. Full dot print a, it's 1, okay. But it's more confusing if you have one function that receives a callback, and in this function has a this dot a equal to, and it calls the callback from the parameter. Okay, and you use that. Okay, so let's run it step by step. We are calling magic with foo.printa, and in this moment, this here is the global context, okay? And if call the callback, this is still the global context. So because it injects it, it's an implicit, okay? If the function top level of the module, it will be the global context with the this. So it will be true because we wrote it in this previous moment. And the console.log for A is 1 because it didn't change the property from the object, but the global gist that will be window on browser or the module on Node.js will be 2. It's different if you are using use strict. Use strict change a lot of things to the runtime language, and one of the things that strict change is how this is assignment. Because if you call this function again, it throw error because on strict mode, this in this part will be undefined because it said, okay, if it's strict and not set this for the top level functions, okay, you'll be undefined, and defined dot a is error. You can fix it by using bind. Bind is a method that every function has, okay? It uses to set more explicit what should be the this from this function. The bind returns the function, but with this that you defined. In this case, this will be full. You wrote it before. So it changed the property in the object. It called the callback. And in this moment, this is full as well. So it print true. And for.a will be true, global gist will be undefined. It's similar if you have, it's similar for the first example when you use ex5 class, okay? In this case, you'll be the same if you have magic.fPrintA and they call the callback. This is the global context because you don't have use strict here. You print undefined. But if there is no use strict in this code, but you are using ex6 class. In this case, the behavior is it's the same about use strict. If you call magic with the callback, this will be undefined throw error because everything within the class ex6 class is strict if you not define it on the module. Okay, going back to the puzzle code. Okay, we have this set timeout. This set timeout passes a function, this.say. But since we are passing it without the bind and even within the ex class, why this is not undefined in this part? So the next question is, what's the environment? There are differences between browser and Node.js included on set timeout. On browser, it injects a global context on the callback, so the two lines are equivalent. Set timeout this.say is the same of set timeout this.say dot bind window. It's implicit. You can also use a string inside of set timeout and in the call eval, so it's a bit unsafe. So on Node, the this from the set timeout callback is the instance from the timeout class. There is no sense for that, but that's behavior. And since there is no message property on this object, this dot message is undefined. So now you can see this code and understand why it returns full on browser or undefined on Node.js. And that's all. So the result, I know there's some timeout in this question, okay, so not everyone will speak the answer, but so Castros is the winner. Okay. Okay. Congratulations. Yes. Just okay. Just 1 second. Okay. If you like this type of content, you can check the event that I organize. Okay, called the Gambi Conf. It's an event about things about computer that you don't use it on every day, like fun projects or personal or crazy things about computer science. We had three editions, two of them in Portuguese and one edition in English. We have talks about reverse engineer satellite communication, make computers just water. Have talks about reverse engineer in games and other things. You can follow me on Twitter as well, B Macabeus, okay? And I have a lot of puzzles in my profile as well. You can scan this QR code or search by this emoji, not from B Macabeus, and find puzzles from CSS, Python, or more about TypeScript and JS. So thank you.
Thank you, Macabeu. Guys, who won the quiz? Oh, you winning. Uh, Dev expert gift that they gave to us. It's for the most important question, but because it's already about this question, so congratulations. So thank you again, Macabeu, for sharing with us. And remember how JavaScript is weird, right? And people say like, oh, it's funny language for starters. That's why we are from. Yeah, so yes, I need to. Okay, yes, I made some joke about JavaScript, and that's it, guys. So our next speaker coming from Devexperts, it's Rafael. He will talk about Astro. I use it and I love it, guys. I think you guys are going to love it too. So, uh, come on, get ready. Consider I just need to take some water. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Eu usei 7.1 que estava funcionando hoje.
Astro.build is a meta framework that I'm using a lot on those past months, experimenting a lot and studying a lot. So I want to share a little bit because I think it's pretty interesting how it unites like great performance and a great DX. So a little bit about myself. If it works, it doesn't work, well, whatever. Uh, well, I'm Brazilian. I'm 29 years old from São Paulo. I'm being here in Porto since 2022. I came to work here at Devexperts, and at first I was a UI UX designer. Then I slowly start migrating to front-end development. It's what I do full time since 2015. And well, I have like two beautiful cats, Nina and Panqueca, and I try like the corniest uh, transition possible. And this is my second tech talk, so I hope everyone likes it. So talking about the first talk. The first talk I did like 1 year ago was about web performance and how we can get those quick wins and how we can improve on our products. And it's pretty good because you have a better conversion, you can have like a lighter product that can work on like every device. But it's not a thing that it's for free because it's a thing that you need to get out your way and like doing some tests and doing some checks and doing lazy loading. So that's why I like how Astro gives out mostly for free. I forgot that it doesn't work. And this is the talk structure. At first, we'll talk about Astro basics, then the features, and a little bit of demo. It's pretty quick. Astro basics. So Astro is pretty similar to Next or Nux. It's a meta framework. You can use it for render on server side. You can use it for static generation, or you can use for both, because why not? One thing interesting that is UI framework agnostic. You can use whatever UI framework your team or you prefers, and you can use even more than one. You shouldn't use more than one, but you can. It's powered by Vite. It's pretty quick. It has like a great local performance, and it's light. Oh, damn! And it's lightweight. So if you put like a README on Astro, it will deliver 0 kilobytes to the client because why? Because it's server render everything's by default. So if you not specify explicitly, oh, this is one I want to be the client send, I want to hydrate this, it will be sent on the server side. And it applies the one thing called island architecture that do that fine tuning of, oh, I need to render this and which time and those kinds of things. So I'll talk a little bit about that. How it is today, we have like some degrees of that, but okay, we parse the HTML, we download the JS that is binded with that, then we parse this JavaScript, and then we bind all those states and bind all the events. And this part, later part's hydration, that is like it's a part that is a little bit of overload. Then I don't know how to not do that. PowerPoint's so difficult. Now it's work? Okay, nice. So, no problem. So this is the classic hydration. So this gray part is what is called hydration. And what is island architecture? It basically is a hydration strategy that you see, like you have your page. Here it has like a sea of static content in some islands of interactivity. So we can say, okay, just these parts need to be hydrated. And not every part needs to be hydrated at the same time. Some parts can be delayed, some parts can be, okay, only if you send like an event, only if the user scrolls until some part. So we can have a fine tuning, and here like we can like quickly uh, uh, take that part and distribute the part or even shrink the part. So here we have these islands of interaction. And we have here a code example that is from the later example. We have here the nav, article, the header image, and you can notice that some parts is using a directive cloud client. So I can like obfuscate the rest of it. So all of this part that is obfuscated, all of it will be server-side rendered and will not touch any part of the JavaScript. Only the parts that put that client directive is gonna or skip the server-side 100%. For example, here the client only reacts because in the example will show better is like a graph, jack chart graph. So we use a lot of windows, so we need to skip entirely the server side, and we can fine tune that. And talking about the main features of Astro, the routing, if you already know about Vue, Next and Nuxt, is pretty similar. It's based on folders, and you can use two things like the Astro file and the Markdown file. The Markdown, it's a simple Markdown, it will render, but the Astro is like the star here. And of course, you can use API routes. It has like a nice structure of HP verbs. It's out of scope, but it's worth checking. So meet the .astro file. Who here has some experience with Vue? Nice. I think I need to explain a little bit. So in Vue we have the single file component. So all the HTML, all the JavaScript, all the CSS is on one file .vue.svelte, and it's bundled and divided later. And Astro is pretty similar. It has this structure. The structure here, the only part that is fixed is the server-side code. It needs to be on top. It's a top-level async function. But the rest you can like, I don't want the styling here, so I can remove. I don't want the client-side code, I can remove it too. But you have this all in one .astro file. And these files, since the .astro files are the files that will be 100% sent to the server. So it's perfect for the pages, for the routes. It's perfect for the templates, so you can like change some props, do some light things, and stateless components like icons, the nav, those kinds of things. So here I have example. of a server-side code. As I told you, it's like a sync function. At the top, we have the import that we have from another component. It can be Vue, it can be React, whatever. But right here, I call React. And we can have some light JavaScript that does not use any browser API or any browser or a window, things like that. And here you can use fetch directly. I think it's pretty handy. So here I'm doing like example GitHub fetch of stars, and I can use here directly current user repo stars half. So it's pretty easy to fetch the info and getting the info into the components. And here I have some client-side code if I need to do like some polyfill, things like that. Here I don't have the animation API, so I'll do a polyfill first. It's pretty similar to the user effect. And the styling, it's all scoped. If you already use it CSS modules, pretty similar, but you can have as much style tags that you wish. So you can have a style tag that is scoped, a style tag that is not, a style tag that uses another type of language. And this is the full example. I'm doing like using some Next Lango here. So this is like kind of the same of the get server-side props. This part is like the use effect. This one is like the template, the JSX file. And here it's kind of using CSS modules, just everything in one file. A nice thing about Astro is content collection, because most of the time we have some static content, some local content like some data, and we can use it with content collection because it's type safe. So we check all this collection of, for example, users, all a collection of persons on a team or things like that, and we can type, okay, this data need to have, I can have a better example here. So it exposes like the Zod, and we have like a team collection, and I use with Zod everything that I need to check. This is an object, is a number, if it's a string with max 100%, 100 characters, and I expose here to a team collection that I can use on another, for example, here I can use on another page or on a markdown. So here it's pretty easy, it's all type safe. So if I do like a mistake on one of the files, or if I check like a collection that doesn't exist, it will complain on the local. So it's pretty easy to use. And deploy is like pretty, it uses a lot of integration, so you can like use whatever. If you use Node, if you use Deno, if you use Uban, you can deploy with Netlify. It has binding with all those services, and it's pretty easy. It's like one step with Vercel. It's pretty nice. And I didn't have the time to, because it was last week. They announced the Astro.DB. That is a service they have of database that is pretty much to compete with WordPress. And they have the service, but you can run it locally, and it has the bindings with Astro. I think it's worth checking because their documentation is pretty good, but I don't have time to make an example of that. I'm sorry. And the drawbacks, I mean, it's not that coupled with one framework because you need to work with a lot of frameworks. So it's not like Next and React that, okay, React have like a React server components, and Next has out of the box on the same week. So if you want that cutting edge, it's not going to work. Libraries that relies like on a provider on a root, not going to work that well, because you don't have that hoot. You can need like to put a provider in every component, and it's like an edge case. So it may work, it may not. And I think that is nice if you're using like static generation. It doesn't have incremental static generation. So if you're doing like static, you need to build everything and then like to do like some small changes. And for example, if you deploy a Vercel, it has an option, but if it's like local, if it's like for yourself. It doesn't have, unfortunately. And where to use, like in a scale of a glorified README file from GitHub and Figma that has a lot of state, maybe it's like half of the way when you have like some documentations, some news sites and blogs, and even some e-commerce, so it can have some light state, not everything that it's too dynamic. So this is where I think the Astro right now sits more comfortably. We have some examples of some other projects using Microsoft. So they is going to that direction. It's where it's best. So we have like here the demo time. I think a nice thing that I could not have a demo for myself, but the community is here for it. And they have the transitions that we don't need to use like it's a browser API. It's pretty nice, like, but the Astro has some bindings for that, and it's a kind of low level, but it's make it more accessible. So we can have those transitions even with it's like not it doesn't have JavaScript, so it's 100% browser transitions. It's pretty nice. Yeah. And here, I forgot the link, so I need to go to my Vercel again. And it's not working. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so I have here like a page. This component here I did with Astro files. So I can show here a little bit of navigation. So we have here like some, as I told you, like it's pretty small. I think it's a little bit better. I hope so. So we have here like some light JavaScript that we can use for some logic in JSX. And here I try to do like a README, getting the README from the Astro project from GitHub. So here we have the folder pages README. So I'm using a library called Astro Remote, and it does like the cleaning of the response. So here I just need to get the README, and then here I can use 100% the markdown. And like I'm doing like some, okay, if the image, I just need to change the image for not to be absolute, to be relative, but it's pretty easy to do that. So it's like to show how easy is like making a fetch from external source and use it. So even for doing like the stream that I told you, like the glorified README file, it's pretty easy to do. And here we have example of collections. We have a collection here. I did like a team. Chico Bento. Fapradella is a team that I put here that, okay, ID, net me number, everyone has to have a whole role. And here we have those type safe. And for example, here on the blog post, that is the same blog post that I used, like I can use here on this data pretty quickly. Let me see here on blog post, here index, I use it like get entry. So I get it from the collection of the teams, and at Rafael Pradella because it's the user, and I use it directly here on a member info component that I did, .astro component. And here it's the example that I did at first time. So we have like this talk that is real, that is skipped 100% the server time. Here the comments that only loads when I scroll into it. And something that I use it a lot, for example, when using Tag Manager, is that, okay, the marketing team sends an event, then I need to fetch something. So here, like I'm doing trigger event, and okay, nice. Now it's hydrated this 5 stars, but it can be whatever. I just didn't have that much time. But yeah, it's basically it. It's pretty quick. I told you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rafael. Such a great talk. So, questions? Two questions. Oh, no. I got it. Thank you. So, questions. We have two here. So, thank you. Five.
First of all, thank you, Rafael. It was nice lecture. It was very interesting for me because I'm working with Next.js and this topic is very, very close to me. You already spoke about ISR, and I'm building my strategy on ISR for server rendering and in client in Next.js for fetching and hydration. I'm use SVR hook with pretty good caching. Maybe you know. And I'm curious, does Astro have something like that?
I mean, like, you can use as the, I mean, you can use the use SWR on.
It goes from Vercel to Astro and it matches.
Yeah, if the ESR only if you're using it's a pretty recent. I think it's like 1 month. 1 month ago they did like the official bindings for Astro, and only if you're using like the Vercel product, if you're using the Vercel Cloud, you can use the ESR.
Only if I use a Vercel product.
Only Vercel, yeah, and that's the problem. That's a drawback, yeah, because it's a Vercel function. Astro does not support. That's the problem.
I understand. And Astro have nothing like that.
No, no.
No,
Unfortunately, like
no.
they have like some open PRs and a lot of discussions, but as far I could check,
Okay.
not really.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this presentation. I just want to ask a question. When I started working as a front-end developer some years ago, I remember that most of the jobs were building web apps, what we used to call like for maybe for B2B or like a Canva kind of web app. But the more like time is passing, and I see that there are a lot of jobs right now for front-end developers in e-commerce, in content generation, like this, like for blogs and stuff. That before I thought that everyone was just using Shopify and we're just using other tools that low code tools. So tell me, like, how do you see this new thing? Like, because I noticed that when Next started this, and now I see that there's a change in the market that they are actually hiring front end developers to build this, and they use just maybe headless e-commerces. They build headless whatever content. I don't know. It's just wanted to see if you share with me the same thinking. Like you're seeing more jobs in this area for front end developers.
Um, yeah. Past year I was working on a streaming service that relies heavily on Next.js. My past work was using like is a e-commerce website that I can see it was using like a legacy C# Razor, but I can see like using some Astro or even like Next.js. And I mean there are jobs like they there are like job positions, but maybe some are migrating from WordPress to this SSRs because they have now this possibility of handling these more specific like scenarios, and it's not like putting a lot of JavaScript for doing like a blog post or things like that. So it's more capable. You see, like on content collections, AstroDB is trying to take like the WordPress launch. I don't know if it's gonna take, but it's a trying. So I think that it's migrating for those, and even like with WordPress, you can use their API for creating with Next.js and React in the Node environment. So yeah, I think it's pretty promising, and I think it will be
good.
yeah.
That means more jobs for us in the future, right?
Please, please.
I hope. So, any more questions? Yeah, I have.
Oh,
How do you,
okay, okay.
how do you dealing with content management on Astro? Because some cases could be that component is highly complicated. For example, you have text on the top left, on the bottom right, some images, and so on. And we need somehow to manage, like edit this text, maybe online or via Markdown. My question is, how do you think it's better to deal with it, your experience?
Mm, I don't think. Sorry, I don't think I get. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, sure. Basically, we need to have some text that, for example, some sales could edit on the site.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach with this stuff?
Mm. I think like there are some services like Contentful that you can do like the a little bit more headless. Then you can like get the informations in some like a collection, but from a service. I think that that's the way that I seen like using being used like the most like from this headless CMS and then just binding the information on the SSR like the get props or in the fetch. So basically that's how this if you're not doing like local information on content collection, I think this headless and like on Astro you have here like the bindings. They have a lot of bindings. I think Contentful sponsor Astro because they think like as a good synergy of product and okay, learn Astro and maybe use Contentful, those kind of things. So yeah, that's the way that I see like the most. If you're not using like a like in house like admins, something like that.
Any more questions? Oh, yeah, yeah, great one. So
Oh, where's that?
I can read. Yeah.
Oh, can you help me?
Mark, there's other one. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for a really nice and presentation. My question is like, can you give more use cases because to add up any of the framework or any of the technology, the first thing would be like where it gets fit. What are the options? What are the other use cases that get we have Next, we have Nuxt, we have Angular. A lot the competition is very big. We have Gatsby.
Mm-hmm.
Gatsby has been like a lot of years. We have Quick and also the Solitude. So they are the competitors of.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm approaching Astro, and what are the other use? Like you said, e-commerce. That's one. But and then what's the other plan? Like, it is going to be like evolve in other also like multi-vendor, multi-level, multi-site, multi-tenant. All those we
Mm.
just an example.
I mean, I don't know, but I think that they are aiming on this content, light stack content, because I think that is the strength of Astro, because that's the thing that they're the best, like with like less footprint of JavaScript. But yeah, I mean, I don't see. I think that if you're going like to I think a little bit more complicated than like a simple e-commerce, and that you do like for for example, like trying to do with a lot of state. And I think it tries to, it's kind of out of reach for Astro. I mean, right now.
Maybe in their roadmap.
Sorry?
In their roadmap, it would be like they would be adapting those.
Yeah, maybe I see they are starting this database, so maybe they're like approaching this other side of the axis. But right now on the showcase, it's only like okay, the documentation, this all the like great showcases, like great examples they have is like documentation. It's like e-commerce. It's like blogs for companies for blogs and for a lot of companies. So I don't see a lot of being like if you're it's a little bit more complicated. I think it's kind of out of reach for Astro. But it's nice to have like this option on your belt if you see the this one it's more suitable for that. So maybe like if you can go from some next something like that. But yeah,
So, Luis, last question. Yeah, we're closing. So thank you for your talk to talk in our community. It's very important. By the way, our community website is built with Astro. It's very good. I love it. But I think when you start to use Astro to build more complicated stuff, you start to stop use the Astro single file and start to use React or Vue components. And in the end of the day, I think more complicated applications, just like e-commerce, just as you said, you made so much React or Vue components that your Astro application turns into a React application. You believe that there is some way to bypass this stuff and use Astro to build an e-commerce instead of build with React? Because if I am using Astro and I have more React components than Astro single file and Astro stuff, because Astro has a lot of libraries to help you, just like icons library and something like that.
mhm.
But if you're building e-commerce, for example, in the end of the day, you have too much React components that I'm questioning myself. Is there's is making more sense to build you with a React tool instead of Astro? You know?
Mhm. I think like you can you can have this. Okay, if most of the of your page is like interactive, yeah, maybe it's not as suited to our Astro. But you can. I don't think that's the problem if you're dealing with areas of interactivity. Like, okay, you can have like a deep nest of components, but you can have like a main component. That this component you can like, okay, this one will be client idle because and it will save like a lot of JavaScript because you're lazy loading a lot of things on this area. So I think it's for me it's like a doable approach. Like you think in areas, then in these areas you can like put a lot of nest a lot of React or Vue, whatever components, and on these routes you just do the okay this in this about for example this meet your team can be more important. So here I do like the most like um, the higher importance on the get, and I think this is a way that you can like have the simplicity of managing those parts with Astro, and you can use like whatever on inside of it you can use like whatever type of components like, and you can structure your component the ways that you pleases. So I think that's the I don't see it like being like a fight. I think the fights maybe it has like static components enough to compensate because if you do like everything with clients, nice, you have like some orchestration of I need to load that first, you need to load that second. But I think you kind of miss the point of Astro that is like server side by default and try to load most of the things on HTML. So if kind of okay, maybe you can get better off with Next because I think you're not getting that much of you're just getting the downsides of a less known project with a less like with like less plugins, those kind of things, and not using like the fun part of Astro, the strength. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I will give you like two points here because I'm building something after and I want to share it. So this happens a lot. I see myself using a lot of React, I was making like some content editable, like Medium, and React for this thing sucks because of the re-rendering, And for one time, I had this thing like, I will install Solid and making Solid, and I was like, no, I would install a library for that, and I started a library. But I would say that maybe is this power that you have that you're not like 100% attached to React like Next. I think that's the biggest point of Astro, and the partial hydration that give you more like power and performance. That's my share.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. And I think we have any other questions? I think everyone wants to go away, right? So, guys, first of all, thank you, Rafael. Really nice talk.
Thank you.
So, thank you guys for coming. Like, the community is all about you guys, and we want like to take a picture to keep this moment, right? And see you guys in the later next one.
Last but not least, if you guys want to speak with us, or if you want to give a talk, just like Rafael, just like Macabeus, please, please, please enter in our meetup community or our website or our Instagram. In the meetup page, it's easier. And just send it to us in the Google form. You just need to send us your basic information and your talk subject that we're gonna try to put you in our next meetup. We really need speakers because it's easier, it's easy to be in the chair than here, but we we love the community and we want to get it this much bigger. Yeah. And so if you want to give a talk or know a people that like to give a talk to beautiful people like you, please send the link or fill the form. That's it. Thank you.
Just a picture, yeah.
Você chegou por último?
Full stack events. It's take from there. I don't know. It's because take everything. Yeah.
Ok, boss.
He's paying with beer.
Smile. Filho deitado.
É. Deitado com um X, one X.
Não tô sendo pago pra isso. Ah, que lindos.
Oh, I just forgot something. Who make the best question? Who made the best question? You need to give the prize. I forgot. Too much things.
Okay. I really like your question, so.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's it, guys. Thank you.
So let's see. If
Some
your
stickers from Devexperts,
company
yeah?
wants
Yeah,
to
and
host
another-
us,
My wife
please
adore
reach
it.
us in the meetup or the Instagram. We love to be
You can
hosted.
host us in your house.
Yeah. Anywhere. So that's it. Stay tuned to our meetup community. We'd like to make a meetup each 1 month, one and a half. So we're trying to make things, but to make the next ones, we need speakers. So if you have a talk, you already know. So that's it. Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.